Good morning, everybody. So, today I want to talk about healthy boundaries. So, boundaries can be like an abstract concept to some people because it's likely that, like, if your parents didn't teach you healthy boundaries, their parents didn't teach them healthy boundaries either. So, when someone's like, hey, you got to learn how to set healthy boundaries, you're like, that means nothing to me. I have no idea what that means. And it's hard to try to figure out if you were never taught, or especially if you didn't have any examples growing up. Like, we learn from our parents. So, like, if your parents weren't using healthy boundaries with each other and with you and with the other people in their life, you literally have no idea what that means. It can be very confusing to some people. So, I'm just going to start going in on different aspects of healthy boundaries, and I think this one's a really this specific one is a good place to start. We're going to talk about healthy communication. So, this is important because you need to know what to expect from people, right? And also, like, if you want to live and be like your true authentic self, like, you want to be as healthy as you can be. And often um, you'll find out, once you learn healthy communication, you'll realize that everyone around you is not very good at communication, I guess. I mean, that might not be the case, but for a lot of us, I think that it is. You know, us traumatized people, we tend to stick together. So you'll recognize that, like, oh, your husband doesn't use healthy communication, your parents don't, your group of friends doesn't use healthy communication. It's just what happens. Like, a lot of people just have no idea how to actually be healthy people and have healthy boundaries. So, like, it's important for you to teach yourself how to do it so you can be the best person that you can be. It's more important that you learn and practice healthy communication than it is to, like, catch other people not doing it. And you'll find that once you start communicating in a healthy way, the other people around you, they're going to start doing it too. And I'll explain that here in a second. So, yeah, learning healthy communication is key. It's a really good place to start when you're talking about like, learning how to set healthy boundaries if you really don't have a reference for that. So, what we're going to do, if you want, is we're going to be writing letters. So, I have my little example here. I want you to, like, pick a person in your life that you have problems with, and I want you to write them a letter and, like, get it all out, like, everything that you think and whatever it is that has happened that you have a problem with. So, here we go. Dear Mom, you messed up my whole life. You were never there for me when I needed you. You were more worried about yourself than me. You didn't do a good job. You let me down. You did this and you did that and blah, blah, blah. All right. So now you have your letter. Now I want you to go back and look at this letter, and I want you to circle every time you said the word you. Now, I want you to imagine what it would be like if you actually said these things to this person. How would they respond? They would probably get really defensive. They'd be super offended, and it might ruin the relationship, right? And I mean, there's a good reason for that. It's because that style of speaking, when you're, like, pointing your finger, it's not healthy communication, and it also is I mean, it's like you're blaming the other person for you not having healthy boundaries, and that's why it stings people so much. And it also creates, like, the ping pong effect. So, like, I blame you for something, and then you blame me for something, and then it just goes back and forth for a freaking eternity. Like in some cases, I don't know how old you are, but I'm, in my 30s, and I communicated like this with people for freaking years, years and years and years, just back and forth blaming and whatever, and it got me nowhere. So now you have your letter. You circle all the times that you've said you. I want you to rewrite the letter without using you at all. No yous, nothing. What is that going to look like? Well, it's going to look like healthy communication. And for some of us, that's going to be a bizarre concept. So I'm going to give you my example of I wrote my crappy letter, my mean letter, and now I'm going to get rid of all those yous, and this is what it's going to sound like. Dear Mom, I feel like I picked up trauma from my childhood. I feel like I am repeating trauma cycles and they are affecting my life today. I feel like I wish I had a better relationship with my parents. So that's how that whole scenario goes. You get rid of the yous, you replace them with how you are feeling without being accusatory. And you can get your entire point across without blaming the other person, even though it's their fault. It probably is their fault. But we have to take accountability for our own current situation. And like, you can blame your mom for what happened in the past, or whoever it is. It could be your husband, your whatever. But like, you are in charge of the current moment. And when you communicate in that style of not pointing your finger at the other person, they can't come back at you. You've cut off that game of ping pong of blaming. So like, imagine that you come at your person with the first letter and you're like, you. Their response is going to be like, no, you did this and you did that. If you come at them with, I feel like I picked up trauma from my childhood. Imagine what that person would look like and feel like if they responded to that sentence with a bunch of yous. Well, you did this and you did that. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They are going to be like shocked that you are coming to them and you're not blaming them, especially if it's been like a pattern. So you can actually inspire people to, instead of like reacting with the emotion, to actually sit and think about what you said and receive it in a more healthy way. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So this is important to learn how to communicate healthy. Like, it's so important because it's going to teach you the right way to communicate with people, which is key, because all of shadow work, all of this, everything that we're doing, it is about you. It's not about the other person. It's about shifting your perspective to a place of understanding that you have the power and you don't have to play into these cycles anymore. So it's important. It's important for you and your growth to learn how to communicate in a healthy way. It's important for other people because it's important for you to show respect, even if they're not doing it back. You need to be able to maintain your authenticity and not let other people have control over what you say. So it's like, I no longer have, like, people can't pull the nasty out of me anymore. It's just not a possibility. I am not going to falter. I am not going to stoop. I don't do that anymore. That's not who I am authentically. I'm not a mean person. I'm not a nasty person. Like, I am kind. I didn't used to be. And it's not that I wasn't kind. The kindness was always in there still, but it was buried by all of these bad relationships and all of these traumas and all of this armor that I was wearing, because I was always ready to like defend myself. I'm not like that anymore. And so I'm respecting myself by maintaining my ability to communicate in a healthy way, even when others are not. I'm also respecting them. And you will be surprised how people will react to this because they might not have a lot of respect in their lives. So not only are you doing this for yourself, you're also showing somebody what true respect and compassion looks like. And you might open their eyes to start doing this work as well and start setting healthy boundaries. Also, when you learn how to communicate healthy with other people, you can learn how to communicate with yourself. I talk about self-awareness all the time. Analyzing your thoughts, catching those negative thoughts. Sometimes we don't realize that thoughts are necessarily negative. It's because we're following the same like style of communication, that everything that's coming out of your mouth, like the stuff that runs through your head, it's in that same unhealthy communication style. So if you can change the way you communicate with other people, you can also change how you communicate up here, and you can start being kinder to yourself. Very important. So yes, write the letters if you want to work on healthy communication. If you don't have to write the letters. I'm just saying, this is a good exercise to start learning healthy boundaries. Now, if you have already had a session with me and we've talked about writing letters to express anger, this is a different exercise. Like, if you want to, you can use those same letters and like, circle the U's and reverse them. But if I asked you to write letters, those are about expressing anger. So be an asshole. That's fine in that case. So, yeah. If you would like to book a session with me, you can go to my business page, Shadow Work by April, and there's a book now button. You can just click it, and I have a few different sessions that you can choose from, ranging in different prices. So if you decide that you need additional assistance in this work, go ahead and book a session. Just send me a message. All right. Thank you. Bye.